Doha is a wonderful tourist destination to visit, especially if you want the guaranteed sunshine. Trips to the desert and sand dunes can be arranged, or 5 minutes down the road, the magnificent Doha Golf Club, home of the Qatar Masters for the last 3 years. Situated in the Middle East, Doha is a very easy destination to get to. 6'5" Swede Robert Karlsson's been playing very good golf this week. In the past he's won in 95, 97 and 99. I wonder if he can make it a win in 2001. In the first round, Robert Karlsson shot a 63, course record. And on his way to a second round 70, making a birdie on 17. Magnificent play over the first 3 days has put Robert Karlsson at a total of 13 under par. And level with him is Angel Cabrera, not one on the European Tour, which is a great surprise. Very consistent in major tournaments. Let's see if he can get a European Tour under his belt. Rounds of 66, 70. And on his way to a round of 67, playing to the 14th. Let's see whether either one of those or maybe somebody else can get their hands on the magnificent Mother of Pearl trophy. So this is how it stands. Angel Cabrera alongside Robert Karlsson at 13 under par. Paul Lawrie, the Open champion, 9 under, got a fair bit to do, as has Thomas Bjorn. Got a lot to do. Good rounds from Paul McGinley and a steady playing from Eamon Darcy. Welcome to the 4th and final round of the 2001 Qatar Masters. Good afternoon, I'm Richard Boxall. It's day 4, the final round, and I can tell you I've been up to the clubhouse and I've been moving around the putting green and the clubhouse. Some players making their way for 1 o'clock flights home, and first 3 days was windy on Saturday, died down in the afternoon. Friday, again, was windy most of the day, but I can tell you today that it's extremely windy. The last 20 players that went out from the last group, there's only 3 people that are under par at the moment. So totally different conditions today. Wind coming from a northerly direction, very strong. Tony Johnston, who was in the second last group out, I can tell you hold a 35-yard wedge shot, or chip and run I should say, at the first, and then hold a 60-footer for a par on the second. Just come off a bogey on the 5th. This is him on the 7th. Tournament leader at the moment. Plays very well in the wind. There's Johnston. Pin here today on the 7th. 22 on 5 from the left. In the final group out. Sixth hole and Karlsson for a birdie. And a bogey on the 5th. Just to join Johnston. Robert Karlsson playing with Angel Cabrera, who has started bogey, 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 par, bogey. Conditions extremely difficult today. First prize today is £84,889 and 65p. Not that you'll be too worried about the 65p. A lot of Ryder Cup points to be had early on in the season. Dean Robertson, his third shot on the 7th. He's taken a penalty drop. Unplayable lie. And the pin, if you see the television tower, the left-hand side of that left bunker, that's right where the pin is. So middle of the green. I'm just trying to hit it in right to left. Wind into off the right. See, Robertson, a couple of bogeys so far, moved back to 10 under. He's in third place at it on his own at the moment. A long way to go, though. Cabrera struggling badly today. This to stay at 9 under. And that'll help the confidence. But he's 4 over. 4 over after 6. And a very different day from the first 3. Lots of red figures. Paul Lawrie for a birdie at the 8th. You can see he's putting with his wedge. The putter is no longer intact. And this is not easy. It's not easy with a normal putter, let alone a wedge. View back up to the 7th tee, Robert Carlson and Cabrera. And the wind will be affecting the putts on these greens today. The green's in excellent condition. The whole course is in excellent condition. Daniel McNeil, course superintendent, head greenkeeper, done a great job. Into off the right hand side, keeping a long glare. Perfect there from Cabrera. Give you a little rough idea. Jared Moseley shot 68 today. And he's in now in a tie for 18th. Dean Robertson making a bogey at the 7th. It's 2 on the trot for Dean, 3 in all. And back to 9 under. Johnson to extend his lead to 14 under. And you see the wind pushing that down the slope. tricky one to save par with the wind blowing. Left lip. Just making it in. All round good putt, as we say. Thomas Bjorn's birdie attempt on 13. Thomas 4 over today. No bogeys on the front. No bogeys, no birdies, I should say, on the front nine. 3 bogeys. Bogey 12. 12's a difficult hole today. We'll look at that one later on. 2 under for the tournament. That's in a tie at 29th at the moment. So through 7 holes, Tony Johnston is leading the way at 13 under. Beginning to be a little bit of a gap between Johnson, Carlson and Edmund and Robertson and Cabrera. Roger Chapman, who was in the commentary box with me yesterday, shot a 69 to leap right up and tie for 60th yesterday, and he's now 19th tied. Robert Carlson, second shot to the 7th, straight at the camera stand. 7 iron and try and let the wind bring it back. May have gone a little too far left. And the advantage is he's chipping into the wind there. He's got the Tiger Woods outfit on, red shirt for the last day and black trousers. Breeze certainly not easing off at all. Off a great drive. Cabrera will be punching in an 8 iron from here. This is where the Argentinians, I think, are very good. Punchy little 8 there. And it may not look that good, but that's a good shot in these conditions. And 301.2 in the driving. Martin Lefebvre on the 12th. Chance to move to 9 under, playing very nicely this year.
Great try.
And if Martin could, if Lefebvre could just squeeze a couple of birdies in and get in and post a score, people a target to aim for. He could be smiling at the end of the day if he could get into sort of 10 or 11 under. Johnston on the 8th, 192 yards to the pin. Straight into the teeth of the wind. Pin 33 yards on, 5 from the right. Playing partner, Dean Robertson, 4 iron, maybe a 3 iron. Water down the left, aiming it at the left and trying to let the breeze bring it back left to right. Feeding it down to the pin, which is executed very, very well. Dean 3 over par today, but still right in there with a shout. Couple of birdies will get him right back into it. But a bit of a gap opening up between second and third, or should I say between first, second and third. Carlson chipping into the wind at the 7th. And I think chipping into that wind was no question was an advantage. Still not made any damage to the golf course, birdie wise. And you see the wind again pushing it. Not so much wind, I think that probably would have gone in. Another par. Stopped the rot a little bit, last couple of holes, couple of pars. Awful start though, 4 over after 5. And Carlson to clean up to stay 12 under. 1 over for his round today. He's still not made a birdie. And only 1 behind. Ahead at the 8th. Johnston to move too clear. There's a caddy there, Neil Smithers. Smithers was his nickname. Used to caddy for me, funnily enough. You see the dark bits on the green there, that's into the grain, and now it's down grain. A bit silvery. Changed his putting style, Tony Johnson, standing a little further away from the ball. And there's no question that all the practice he's put in is now paying off. It takes a lot of courage to change something that you've been using for a long time, action-wise, and put it into motion, but he has done. And tournament leader Tony Johnston stays 13 under. The 9th. The tee is 70 yards forward on the 9th. Par 3, 13th. Martin Lefebvre. This is not a pleasant hole today. Straight into the wind. 11 on 5 from the left. It's a good shot. They'll be hitting 3 or 4 3 irons into that hole today. Turn it over a little bit right to left. There's water left as well. Dean Robertson downhill left to right putt. Birdie chance for Dean to get to 10 under. And not a great deal of left to right in that. In fact, if anything, that was going right to left at the end. Steve Webster fans on the 15th. He's holed his second shot for a 2. Downwind today with a 9 iron. Round of 68. And he's in a tie for 9th with David Higgins, John Sendon and David Lynn. John Sendon and David Lynn still on the course. David Higgins, a very, very good score. Father Liam Higgins plays the European Seniors. Out of 68 for David. That'll be a nice few pounds coming his way. 9th place on its own is £11,409. clubhouse in the background. Got to picture your shot and commit to this 5-iron for Robert. Looks like it may be going a little right. Must have looked good in the air, just probably needed a 4-iron. Eagle putt at the 9th for Edmund to get to 11 under. Oh, that will have hurt. Eagles very, very few and far between, as are birdies. Fantastic second shot. He's been moved, as I said, 70 yards forward on this hole today. The 9th, 633 yards, so been shortened down to some 563 yards. Cabrera's tee shot on the 8th. Already 6 under through 9 holes and not having a putter. Rolf Muntz, defending champion, just good round today of 70. Eamon Darcy -2 through 11. Thomas Bjorn not having his best day. Richard Vessels from South Africa. Mark Rowe back after injury. Made the cut last week and made the cut this week. Very good performance from Mark. Andrew Coulthard not playing okay, but not holding any putts. I think that's a problem in that department. Go back to the tournament leader in the 9th hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Martin Lefebvre's chip on the 13th. Very quick. I needed something like that, a little chip in, to get him on his way to set a score, to set a target for the other players. Robert Carlson taking the pin out, giving it to his caddy on the 8th. Got to come across a lot of fringe here, which makes it very difficult to judge. Don't know how its will bounce. It's obviously not as smooth as the greens and a little longer. Very easy to come up short of the hole with these ones. Certainly gave it a hit, and that's a downwind 3-footer. He's left himself there. Moving ahead, couple of holes to the 10th. Elliot Bolt for a birdie. He's 1 over today. Reached the turn in 36. So par for Bolt, 8 under for the tournament. Three bogeys and a couple of birdies on the par 5s, which is where I think the scoring is going to come today. It'll be the par 5s. Back a couple of holes to the Angel Cabrera at 9 under, chipping into the wind. As the only saving grace. Obviously downhill from where he is. Doesn't look like it there, but it's downhill where he's standing. And slightly uphill on the green. Cabrera's chip of tape. This is now live. And the ball hit that very well. That could easily have bounced out. But he's annoyed. It's a frustrating day. It's not easy. 5 behind Johnston now. To 8 under par. Robert Carlson would have kept an eye on that. 1 over. And if he can just knock this one in, he's got a good chance on 9 and reaching in 2. Draw level with Johnston. There's a bit of work to be done first, though. Firm, straight in the middle. Never touch the sides of that one. Carlson won 95, 97 and 99. So you would think somewhere along the line this year there'll be a 2001. 10th hole into the wind, second shot. Edmund. Can't reach this hole today. Down with a driver, that looked like. And I tell you what, that was a big hit there. Very unlucky. Just needed to be another couple of foot up that bank and that was up. I watched a lot of people play that hole today and not get anywhere near it. Back a hole to the 9th, Dean Robertson's second shot. 3 over today. Not a birdie yet. Long bunker shot into the wind, across the wind. The water is actually straight behind that pin from where he's playing from. Tournament leader. Second shot, playing with Robertson. And this will test his putting out now. Or maybe he's chipping. Test his chipping out. But Tony's won many golf tournaments. He knows how to win. And leading he is at the moment. Edmund from France got over an illness in 1999. Nice to see him back and doing well. And the chaps that have finished, Steve Webster and David Higgins, will be probably would have got on the, I think there's a 1 o'clock Qatar Airways flight back to London. They could well be on that. And if the wind really blows, they could be required back for a playoff, but I don't think that'll happen. Rolf Muntz, defending champion, 5 under. Good defence. William Wisdom finished in the top 10 the last 3 times he's played in this, and not that far away again from a top 10. Gives you a good view of what it used to be like before a golf course was put here. Same sort of driving distance as Angel Cabrera. So 70 yards forward the tee here on the 9th. Makes it 560 yards. Down off the right hand side, the wind.
Thanks.
Ian Robertson playing into the wind with his trap shot there. One of those ones that it's, from that distance, it's very easy to catch the ball clean and send it swimming over the back. Now Johnson will do well to get down in 2 from here. With a chip and run, I would have thought. 7 iron. Playing a chip and run. I always think a good guide is sort of pitch it a third and it runs 2/3. So a little 7 or 6 iron if it's only. So a third. Just the wind holding that up there. The tee forward if you make 5 here today, especially if you hit the fairway, you feel. Knocking it on in 2, it's losing a bit of ground. There's not hardly any holes like that today. Back to the tee, Cabrera. Down to Edmund, or forward I should say, to Edmund on the 10th, 3rd shot, depending on his lie. Chipping into the wind. Back to the 9th, Dean Robertson. Just looking to 2-putt this one and make his way to the 10th. Par 5s coming on this course on the 1st and the 9th and the 10th and the 18th. So nicely nestled up by the whole side. Plenty of money to be played for. I said earlier, £85,000 nearly first prize. fifth, £21,500. Johnston to open up a 2-shot lead on Robert Carlson and a 4-shot lead on third, who is Edmund, Olivia Edmund, I should say. Ideal view. There's an Aoki style now with a toe off the ground. Excellent front 9 in today's conditions, 1 under. Edmund to close the gap. That's uphill into the grain and into the wind. Wind really is playing a big part on putting today. The game in front on the 11th, Elliot Bolt. Second shot. Playing with Remesi, who unfortunately was out in 44 today. He's 8 over and even for the tournament. Robert Carlson had a very long drive on the 9th. Going in with a long iron, you can see the flag fluttering to the right hand side of that camera stand, and there's water just to the right where those bushes are. Seeing the flight of that ball, that'll be left side of the green. That's what happens if you turn a ball over right to left. If you pull it, it definitely goes further than if you hit it left to right. See the water just edging in on the right hand side there. Anything going slightly left to right will go no distance at all. 6 foot 5 inches tall, and there, starting there is fine with no wind. And the wind now starts to, well, would start to take it, and saw the result just a little further on than Tony Johnston was. Playing partner of Carlson is Angel Cabrera, also going in with an iron. And a good chance of a birdie. Lovely swing from Angel Cabrera. Reminds me a little bit of Dennis Hutchinson's swing, actually. If you're watching in South Africa, Dennis, I know it's your birthday on the 14th of March, 69. And happy birthday for next Wednesday. Going into the wind, the 10th hole today. So Zimbabwe leading the way with Tony Johnston. Carlton with a good birdie opportunity if he has a reasonable lie on the 9th. Elliot Bolt from New Zealand making his way up the leaderboard. 11th hole, dogleg right to left, 410 yards. You can hit it a little further left than you think. And that was almost better for him to be on the sand there. Up ahead on the green, Elliot Bolt chipping for his birdie. Safely in for par. He'll be quite hot in that outfit today. And they don't putt with their sand iron to get their putting stats down, I can assure you. And in the last 10 groups that went out, there's still only 2 people under par today. We see Dean Robertson tee off on the 10th. Martin Lefebvre is one of them. He's 1 under, and Tony Johnston, the tournament leader, is the other. So you can see conditions. Eamon Darcy 5 over today, Marcus Breer 8 over, Remesy 8 over, 1999 Carnoustie Open champion Paul Lawrie is 3 over, and in the last group off, Cabrera is 5 over. So extremely difficult conditions today. Could be possible to shoot over par today and win the tournament, which is extremely rare nowadays. Martin Moritz, very good young player. He's 3 over for his round today. Started 7 under. He's 4 under for the tournament, and that is still in a tie for 19th at the moment. So if he could pick up a couple of birdies, that would help his cause. 2 top finishes for Carlson this year in 3 starts. And peering down at that ball, you can certainly see 75% of it. Just depends what's underneath it. Chipping into the wind, that's the only added advantage that he has here. Very nicely played. Very good. Up ahead at the 10th, Johnston's second shot. And you can see that drifting off to the right-hand side. And it all, well, that's not disastrous. Again, chipping into the wind, which is an advantage. Back down to the 9th green. Cabrera trying to make his first birdie of the day. Looking like probably not. 5 over for his round today. 5 over and still in a tie for 5th. Dean Robertson. Second shot with a wood, 3 wood. Off tape a little earlier. Now the wind will move this ball right to left. And right at the end, just, I thought that was firm enough to stay on line. So Cabrera will knock that one in for a par. And the ball looks like he doesn't want to ground his club. Ball oscillating slightly, so that's a 5 for Cabrera. Out in 41, and doesn't look, always looks horrid when those black squares come up. Carlson to join Tony Johnston at 13 under. Which I think it's fairly safe to say he will. You never can say 100%. So just the one bogey and the one birdie out in 36. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, when the tournament really gets underway now, down the last 9 holes. Move ahead to the 10th, third shot of Johnston. Straight into the teeth of the wind. It's got away with those little palm trees on the left-hand side. Not a lot of green behind the flag. Nicely played and run out. On the right side of the hole, beneath the hole. Playing partner, Dean Robertson. 2 good shots to get to there. You can see Olivia Edmund earlier on just pitched on the top of that bank with 2 drivers. So that was a big hit. Difficult shots these. If you're into the grain of the grass that's into you, grass points towards you, it's a very, very difficult shot. Nicely played. Very quick putt from there. Not had a birdie yet today. 3 bogeys. Birdie attempt for Edmund to move to 11 under. 11th hole. And that was very nicely played. Downhill left to right, Dean Robertson has left here. For his birdie, trying to get to 10 under. See the wind catching that one and knocking that 4 or 5 feet by. Fifteenth hole now, Martin Lefebvre. Third shot, I should say, sorry. That was his second shot. It was one very large drive. Downwind. Watch the wind push that on now. Fantastic. Nice par there. For Lefebvre, 1 under. One of 2 men really under par today that are up there. Bogeyed 14, into the wind 14 today, 15 straight back downwind, so 4 for Lefebvre. Started the day at 6 under. Tie for 7th at the moment. Tournament leader Tony Johnston to move to 14 under, straight up the hill. Thinking very hard of the line there. You probably saw Deans and saw how fast that ball ran down that slope. Probably sort of just shied him off a touch. So Dean, this one's really got to go in. They've all obviously got to go in, but this one is, if he wants to have a bash winning it, this one has to go in right to left. Just about 1 golf ball left of that hole. So 6 for Dean. He'll be absolutely fuming now. Just short in 2. He had a good third shot in, and that just shows how windy it is and how slippery the greens are today. Johnston putting through his shadow, but straight uphill. The ball obviously keeps oscillating slightly. These look easy, but I can assure you they're not when it's as windy as it is today with the greens as quick as they are. He's got 13 and 14 into the teeth of the wind, but we'll go back to the 10th, back down the fairway. Carlson's second shot. Setting himself up in the ideal position I should say, to punch a little wedge or a sand iron in. Got to try and leave it where Tony Johnston was, short of the hole. Cabrera's second shot. Now he's obviously having a go at this. Down the left. And drawn it into the breeze. That looks fantastic strike. Unlucky. It'll be on the bank, which is not a disastrous place to be at all. On an upslope as well. To the 12th with Elliot Bolt's second shot. One over today. Nasty pin position on the 12th today. High scores. Jeremy Robertson unfortunately had a 9 on that hole today. Some 7s and some 6s. Don't want to be pulling it left of the flag. So there's a breakdown of your prize money for the 2001 Qatar Masters. Plenty of Ryder Cup points to be had. Is the town. There's a Corniche. You can have a 10-mile walk all the way around the Corniche if you want to. Plenty of water sports to do. That looks a good idea. That probably wouldn't be for me. That's the academy. The great thing about it is guaranteed sunshine. It's an extremely safe place. Trips out to the desert and to the dunes. And after you've done all that, you can come back out and have a quick round of golf. And thoroughly enjoyable at that. Back to the tournament leader. Joint tournament leader, I should say, with Tony Johnson, Robert Carlson. Third shot. Bunting it left. And not a birdie chance there. 25, 30 feet left. And a very slow putt.
Down, please.
And not a very good lie, Cabrera had there. Still to find his first birdie of the day. Carlson from the front of the 10th green. Robert Carlson, son of a greenkeeper, so been playing golf for a long time. 11th in the Ryder Cup list in 1999. Get a pick. He then went on to win the Belgicom Open a few months later. So I think it was a little bit disappointed back in 99, to say the least. This to get to 14 under. That to stay at 13 under. A lot of trouble out on the 10th green all round today. Last 9 groups, there's only been one birdie on that hole. Bolt for a birdie on the 12th, uphill. Cabrera's first birdie, could it be at the 10th? And it isn't. That's still 5 over for his round, 8 under for the tournament. Amazing, 5 over and still lying in 4th position. That does not happen very often on the European Tour, on any tour in fact. Carlson to stay in the lead with Johnston. Those are the ones you've got to roll in if you want to stay, and they're the ones he has been rolling in if you're 13 under par. Even for his round, just the 1 bogey and 1 birdie. We'll move ahead to the 11th, Tony Johnston. Second shot, very much depends on his lie as to how much spin he can get. Not a bad angle to come in from. $80 yards left. You can just see how breezy it is. Nearly bending over double, those trees. And the grass just caught up in the club head and turned the club head over. Always going to run from that. Neil Smithers, his caddy from Sunningdale. Move ahead to Bolt at the 13th. 1 over for his round. Par 3. And a fantastic attempt. Very good chance for Bolt to make a birdie and get to even for the day, and 9 under for the tournament where he started at the start of the day. He's in a tie for 4th at the moment. Edmund sneaking along. Sneaking along very nicely. This for a birdie. Outside chance. Steady. And that's very tricky coming back. Look at that ball turning. That's going to be a good hole and a half to the right. He's going to have to hit that putt. On the 11th, wind down off the right hand side and really cut the corner on the left hand side today. Robert Carlson hits the ball right to left. 3 wood. Miss it on the right, it's not good news, but that is going, I think, down the left. And found a reasonable lie. That's fairly fortunate. And I wonder if he can make that 95, 97, 99, 2001 Qatar Masters. Not if this man's got anything to do with it. Tony Johnston from Zimbabwe. Birdie attempt on 11. Pretty straight putt. Oh, what a great try. Looks to me like he's thoroughly enjoying it. He will be like a duck on water, just paddling along on like mad, cruising along but paddling along like mad underneath. Really quite happy just to take 2 putts from where he was. But then when it got a couple of feet away, it did look very good. His caddy there counting up the percentage money in his head. Robertson for a birdie, coming for bogey at the 10th. Something needs to happen for Dean now. Edmund to save his par on the 12th. Big swinging putt. And he seemed to be on the move straight away there. Missed on the right side, missed on the high side. Should knock that one in. And move back to 9 under. That great tee shot of Elliot Bolt. This is the birdie attempt, and he was walking. I think he thought he'd missed that one. No question about that. He nearly got past the hole before the ball, or nearly got to the hole before the ball did. And I think he misread that one. Pierre Falker leading the order of merit, not playing this week. Padraig Harrington having a very consistent year again. Pierre Falke is in the Ryder Cup. Justin Rose. Nice to see. He's settled down now and got everything sorted. Aaron Badley, Jeff Ogilvie, 2 Australian young chaps. Very good players. Aaron Badley, very impressed with his putting stroke. Mind you, that is youth for you, I suppose. And one of the many leaderboards out on the course, just showing you after 64 holes, Johnson's 13 under, and a bit of a gap beginning to form now. It's going a little bit like a 2-horse race at the moment. Johnson and Carlson at 13 under, Elliot Bolt at 9 under, Edmund at 9 under. So there's a gap beginning to form. And here's one of the men who's causing that gap. Robert Carlson, after his tee shot 11, down the left side, down the left wing as we say. Found a reasonable lie. Going in with the sand iron. The club looks very short in his hands, doesn't he? So tall. Great line. Couldn't get too much stop. It shows the difference between the fairway and the rough. In the form of creating spin. Playing partner Cabrera. Taking the high route in. Again, one will not stop. 13th tee, Edmund. Par 3 down the right-hand side, pin tight on the left-hand side, 11 on. With a breeze bringing that back. And that's a difficult chip shot he's got left. Very quick from there. We go ahead to the 14th tee. Elliott Bolt. Straight into the breeze today. Even for his round. Playing with Remesy, who's not having a good day. He's 8 over for his round today. That's even for the tournament. Tony Johnston on the 12th found some trouble. His tee shot left and he's hit it left to right, hits the ball left to right, and he's pushed it into those sand and bushes on the right hand side, and he walked in. It looked like he had a swing. Well, there it is. You don't quite know whether they're in the way or not. I think they probably are. Would be looking, I would have thought he'd be looking at more back out onto the fairway and sort of wedge or 9-iron it on. But he's going for a yardage there, so he must have a backswing and he must have a reasonable lie, otherwise it was out sideways. We shall see. Been some big scores today, 6s, 7s, 9s. A lot of 5s. You see the pin there flapping on the left hand side, just left of the TV tower. He's got to go across 2 gullies of rocks. Pin's well back. If he doesn't want to pull it left, you see the gully there in front. I think anywhere around about right here now would be a very good shot. And makes a lovely postcard, but doesn't make a lovely view when you're standing there with a 6-iron in your hand. He's got to hit it left to right. He's got to miss that bush that's just in front of him. There's all rocks on the left-hand side. Lots of trouble on the left-hand side. A lot of room on the right-hand side, but from that position there, with the wind into off the left-hand side, he certainly can't draw it right to left. His shot would be high, and 25 yards left. Now he's got a fairly lofty club out there. I think he's just going to pitch out onto the fairway. Over 150 yards left, so there's, say this is just going back on the fairway. Can't be attempting to knock this, I'm sure. He's played it well. That's awesome. That was a fantastic shot from where he was. Taking a very, very big risk there. He could have gone into that gully that's just short of the green. Never to be seen again. That was a fantastic shot. You watch how far left this goes, and then he cuts across it, putting a clockwise spin on the ball, left to right. There goes the ball. So his left-hand side already started fading. Very brave. Could be a winning one. Back on the 11th, Carlson for a birdie. 4 for Carlson. Remains even. 1 bogey, 1 birdie today. Started straight back with 3 straight pars on the back 9. 7 holes to go. This is where it all really starts getting stomach going round like a tumble dryer. Lots more water needed on board. Mouth's getting very dry. Par putt for Edmund. Well done. 9 under. That was a good up and down. Just had a 3 putt on the last, so that was rather essential. Will it bolt on the 14th? Just coming off a birdie on the 13th. Second shot. And that is rapid from there. It's downwind, downhill, down grain. Straight uphill this chip that Johnson's got here. Big swing from left to right. He's going to chip and run it. You can see where he's aiming here. Now he looks to me like he's aiming out right on those spectators, the right-hand spectator. He'll shovel back round the other way in a minute. 7 iron, 6 iron. Just pitch it about 8, 10 feet on the green, I would have thought, and let it move big style left to right this. Difficult putt left. You watch that ball's coming backwards now. That shows you how slopey it is. If he makes that one, that could be where the tournament was won, as far as I'm concerned. That was a very brave second shot he played there. Dean Robertson, 4 over today. I keep saying these players are over. It sounds like it's bad, but it's good scoring. The conditions are so difficult. Chip and run with a little 7 or an 8 iron. Big right to left swing. Took the pin out. So below the hole. Uphill putt. Dean not had a birdie yet today. Big putt coming up here for Johnston on the 12th. Left to right. Wind belting aloft, nearly get that out in a minute. Across from the left-hand side. Makes a difference to the putt. I'd say he's got to hit this about 2 holes to the left-hand side and be fairly firm with it. Stay up. It did, and he knew it. He knew that one was a big putt. That's a fantastic 4 from Johnston. And if he goes on to win this tournament, that is, unless anything absolutely amazing happens in the next 6 holes, that is where he will look back and say, that is where I won it. Absolutely delighted. Look at that.
Yes, sir. Change it over.
Yeah, 600.
They're really high, but... This is 119.5.
Sorry?
Top, yeah, I think it's 119.5.
Yeah.
Carlton's second shot to the 12th. Seven iron. Aiming well left. Seemed to get it nice and crisply. Very nice shot. Unlucky not to get a bit more spin. Ahead on the 13th, Johnson, after that fantastic save on the last hole of the par. His tee shot straight into the wind off the right, looking like it may have gone a bit right. And he's playing it very, very solidly now. 3 iron in his hand there. That was a great shot. And 45 to 50. Qatari nationals play golf in this country. Gap beginning to move. Not beginning, the gap has moved to 4. Elliot Bolt, Edmund and Robertson really need to do something. Steve Webster and David Higgins, Anders Hansen, all sitting in the clubhouse on 6 under par. Probably about the position they'll finish, I would have thought. Thomas Bjorn, the 18th, finishing off the only birdie of the day, round of 75, 3 under par. Dean Robertson's tee shot on 13, tees the ball quite high.
Great shot.
Wonderful shot, drawn in right to left. Edmund's second shot on 14. Straight into the teeth of the wind. Little fortunate, but there is a cushion on the right hand side there, and that'll feed its way down. Steve Webster, David Higgins, Anders Hansen in a tie for 7th at 6 under at the moment. They will all be receiving, I would have thought, a nice 5-figure check. Seventh being £15,280. So a very nice week's work. David Higgins has moved to Camberley, which is near where I live, so maybe he can buy me a Coca-Cola. Cabrera, huge putt on the 12th, left to right, big swing. And that's finished up where Olivia Edmund was earlier. Cabrera 6 over today, started at 13 under, just had a bogey on 11. It's been a horrid day for him. Ian Woosnam shot 71, a total of 5 under. Beautiful stroke. Lovely putting stroke. So Johnston and Carlson both bogey 14. Didn't do a great deal wrong on that hole either. They both bogeyed the same hole on the front nine and the same hole on the back nine. Johnston's second shot up ahead on the 15th. Straight downwind. Got a bite. And that'll roll off the back of the green. Has to look good in the air, that one. Greens are quite hard now. Back to the trials and tribulations of Elliot Bolt. His par putt now on 16. Very well done. Huge relief that'll be. Tied third at the moment with Olivier Edmond. Playing there with alongside Jean Remessy, who birdied that hole to get back, unfortunately, to 9 over for his round today. He's 1 over for the tournament. John Sendon birdieing the last for a round of 71. Roger Chapman, who was in the commentary box yesterday, good round of 69, taking him up from 60th to a tie for 18th. Des Smythe, playing his last few years on the European Tour, I would think, before he goes to play in the seniors. Quite a while yet, but not quite sure of Des's age, actually. So I won't take a guess. And that is where we've been staying all week. The Intercontinental Hotel, official hotel, got his own private beach, swimming pool, and there is the private beach. Best hotel rooms I think I've stayed in on the European Tour. Fantastic condition. That's the reception where I'll be paying my bill a little bit later on. Squash courts, gym, which I have not used this week, funnily enough. But a lot of the players do now use the gym. Decor absolutely fantastic. 5 or 6 restaurants to eat in. Wonderful breakfast buffet. And that's the inside of the Mexican restaurant. View from the outside. Great hotel. And that's the clubhouse, another fantastic design. And back to 15, 15th tee, iron off the tee. Goes to show how strong it is. I think the wind's picked up a little, if anything. Perfect position. Johnston, Carlson locked at 12 under par. Johnston's got a very difficult 2-putt coming up. Carlson in the middle of the fairway. Elliot Bolt not being able to nudge his way out of a tie for third and get into third on his own. 16 playing straight downwind. We'll go back to Tony Johnston now. He's got 45 feet left. Shouting to his caddy straight there. Birdie attempt, but this will be a good 2-putt. He's got to come up and over a slope and down to the hole. 16 international wins, 5 European Tour victories. Fantastically judged. Very, very good putt. Joined the European Tour in 1980, 21st year on tour. Robertson to save his par. Should move a little right to left, but the wind's howling from his back, and it nearly, that's a relief, very nearly pushed it to the right, that breeze then. So Dean, if he can pick a birdie up on 16 and 18, get to 10 under par. Tony Johnson will just clean this up. Dean Robertson, he's a very good singer, you know, very good at Frank Sinatra songs. Well done, Tony. Good four there. Tied for the lead with Robert Carlson.
Plenty of time anyway.
And that's the European team rankings for the Ryder Cup. Dean Robertson right up there. Valuable points this week. Ian Poulter, he missed the cut. Thomas Bjorn just collecting a few more. It's fairly safe to say he'll be in. Pierre Fulke is already in. And there could be a few more changes, but shaping up very nicely. Paul McGinley finished 12th this week. A few Ryder Cup points for Paul, around a 74 today. And that is what Robert Carlson has left. 8 or 9 iron, trouser legs flapping. Water obviously not in play. Water on the right hand side not in play. It's straight downwind. It's just a question of pitching it on the front of the green and letting it take a big bounce forward and hopefully get some spin on it with about a 9 iron. Good shot. Unlucky not to run out a little bit more, I thought. Edmund birdie putt on 16. Birdie the first, birdie the 9th. And 3 more bogeys. That really would be right to left, but as the wind is blowing straight from his left as he looks at the hole, he's going to have to allow for the wind on this putt, no question. And the ball beginning to oscillate on the green, not moving off its spot. No breeze, this would be a totally different putt. Watch the ball as it slows down, watch the wind grab hold of it. There it goes. And that's incredible. So close, and now he's got one of those horrible little ones left for a par. Second shot of Elliott Bolt, 17th. Pin's only 10 on. And nicely played. Wind into off the left-hand side. Laurie punting for birdie at 16. And he's gone back from putting with a 3-wood to back to putting with a sand iron. Edmund. Now this should be just on the right lip. Got to keep your head still. Don't decelerate on it, otherwise the wind will grab hold of it. And he didn't. Probably thought that wasn't coming back at one point. 3 behind the leaders, needs to really go 2-3 or 2-4 anyway. 2-3 is required really. Elliott Bolt to save his par on 17. Very nice putt. Elliott Bolt doing nicely. Went to the qualifying school 96, 97, 98, 99 and 2000. Qualified in 99 and 2000. And he was 35 years old last Thursday, so quite a nice birthday present for him. Back to the 16th tee, Dean Robertson. Give it some height with a 3-wood. And that's not so bad. And talking of birthdays, tournament director here, David Probin. He's 36 years old today. Getting the wrong side of 35 now. Back to joint tournament leader Tony Johnston. I really feel Tony has to birdie this. 3-wood. A big rock that's short of the green today, not really coming into play like it has done on the last 3 days. Absolutely spot on now. Slow down. It's going to make the cut of rough at the back. Sit. Now, that's a very good shot. Not coming out of the thick rough. He's got a tough chip, but playing very, very solidly. His children go to the same school as mine, so I shall be seeing him on the school run on Tuesday morning. Back to the 15th green. He would have waited for Tony Johnston to hit his tee shot. The 16th tee is right above the 15th green. Etiquette to let the players hit first, which is what most players do. If you're on the green, you want to get the group in front of you off as quick as possible. So So Robert Carlson with his hair dyed ginger. This week, this outside birdie chance to take the lead. For Robert, so he'll move up to the 16th tee in a tie with Tony Johnston. Ricardo Gonzalez at the 18th to move to 7 under. Wind just catching that, in it goes for Argentina. Just the one birdie today, and what a nice place to get it. Back to Cabrera, putting for his par. Birdie putt, I should say. Is he going to get one? That is a 5. I've been informed that that was not for a birdie, that was for a par. Edmund on the 17th. And the wind howling off the left-hand side and into, and he couldn't be further away and still on the putting surface. Just beginning to haze over a little bit now, the sunshine. Dean Robertson. Not had a birdie yet, in need of this one here. I think with this wind, it'll move it to his right as we see it. Oh no, that was a good call, Richard. Well, it did move it to his right, but I thought he was going to start down a little bit. Just as well I don't play anymore. So a slippery one left, but is putting into the wind. Dean, chance to pick up his first birdie of the day. 4 over for his round today so far. Robert Carlson making his way up to the 16th tee, and he'll wait for these two to finish unless they're calling the group on. I don't think, no, they're not calling the group on. Sometimes when it's a drivable par 4, the players in front reach the green and then call the next group on, but I think in this situation, on the last day, that will definitely not happen. Johnston been chipping well all day long. Into the wind, it'll move left to right. Pitching on with a wedge. Watch the wind push that now. There you go, look at that wind, that is incredible. That green slopes from back to front. So it just goes to show how strong that wind is. I keep repeating myself a lot about it, but it is quite incredible. So birdie for Johnston. Move him to 13 under. And under for his round today. And a one-shot lead. 2 to go. Edmund at 17. Birdie putt. Into the wind, just wants to just try and desperately get it within 6 feet, really. And has done. Good putt, good for distance. Dean Robertson, it's a chance to move to 9 under, tie for third. Great putt. Finally, Dean Robertson makes a birdie. And a great time to make one. Well done, Dean. Elliot Bolt's third shot to the last, 9 under. Par 5. Lovely bit of spin there. That could have ended up a little bit closer. That hit the pin. Easily gone in. Edmund to save his par on 17. Well done. 9 under par. Leaving a long one over for his round today. Played extremely well this week. Back on the 16th tee. Carlson with a 3-wood. You see the big rock down there. There's a little bit of gap on the right hand side. He just wants to hit it over the right hand side. And right there where he hit it, of that rock. And that's absolutely huge. Now that all depends on the light. You saw Tony Johnson chipping from the short stuff, which was difficult. He's now got, there wasn't a club in his bag there that he could hit to clear the rock and to land soft enough to get on the green. Only way he could do it was to hit it right and hook it, and that's no way you take that shot on. Bolt for his birdie. Elliot Bolt to finish under par. This is a big putt. Left to right, a few pounds on this one. Well done. Very nice stroke. Excellent round for Elliot Bolt. 10 under par. And of 71 today. And that's a great finish. He could have just slid. Wow, I say slid that one on a 16. If is a very large word. 2 letters, but means a lot. So he'll be delighted with his week. There's the car, the Ford for a hole-in-one. Dean Robertson. Most people would be happy just to get it close to the pin. Everyone leaking it outright, understandably so. Trouble on the left-hand side. He slightly turn it over and knock it down the left-hand side. It could be there for a week. To our tournament leader, Tony Johnston. Well and truly pumped up he'll be now. Last difficult one into the wind. 18 is downwind. He's still got to play the hole, obviously, but looks like he's aiming into the crowd on the left-hand side there. going right. I don't know, is it that heavy? Yes, he has. One of the best bunker players on tour, Tony Johnston. And he's going to have to pull it out of the bag here now. Carlson still has a birdie chance on 16, depending on his lie. Johnston leading the way at 13 under. Bolt finished at 10 under. Just sit back and watch. Edmund coming down 18. Dean Robertson making his way onto the 17th green with Tony Johnston. Defending champion, Muntz 5 under. Ian Wisdom finished 3 times in the top 10 here, easing ever nearer to that top 10. Thomas Bjorn, last week's winner, finished at 3 under par. There's Smith and Eamon Darcy. As said before, a couple of chaps the wrong side of 40, making their way towards the seniors and still performing very well on the European Tour. Brian Davis plays or practices a lot in Florida. Player to watch out, David Howe, who's with International Sports Management, as is Andrew Coulthard. Andrew Chandler in charge of all the goings on. So we'll go back to all the goings on now and go back to the back of the 16th green, where, depending on the lie, it's difficult from this camera angle to see whether the ball is sitting up or sitting down. This will be played with a lob wedge, chipping into the wind. The ball will move left to right once it hits the green. Cabrera alongside him on the right hand side, also run through the back of the green. Big shot, this one. Nicely played. So that to move to 13 under. Johnston in the bunker up ahead on 17. Cabrera still in search of his first birdie of the day. 7 over for his round today. And not a nice day. We've all had it, and it's not pleasant. It happens to somebody every week, week in, week out. Back to Robertson at the 17th, second shot. That looks fairly tasty. Johnston now, I said he was the best bunker player around there is. Practices very, very hard, aiming a little left here. Let the wind bring it back. There it goes, wind catching it. Right, that's absolutely fantastic. He played a shot like that out in South Africa when he won there. That is, look at the caddy smiling, just thinking of that percentage, man. He can't believe it. He is a great bunker player, and that was under extreme pressure. Got to keep it very smooth. He's laughing. Relief. And I tell you, he very nearly held it. That was fantastic. 12th and 17th. If he wins the tournament, that's where he's won it. If he wins it, not tempting fate yet. Leader by 1 though. Just Just another look. Watch the ball go in there. Watch the wind start catching it there. Could not have played it any better, apart from maybe 6 inches to the right. Chat with Tim Barter there. Back to 16. Robert Carlson to join Tony Johnston. You can just look at that. That's incredible. Sorry to go on about it so much, but it is. I mean, the wind whistles through the rocks there. So par for Carlson. Johnston leading by 1, and a golden opportunity to possibly make birdie down the last and sort it all out. Dean Robertson just to save par after birdie on 16. Very nicely done. That's 2 very nice putts he's holding the last 2 holes. Dean lying in a tie for 4th at the moment. He's 3 over today for his round, 9 under for the tournament. As we move back down from the green to the tee. To Robert Carlson and Angel Cabrera. Robert Carlson working the yardage out, the big crane in the background. That's where I am positioned, not on the top of the crane, but I'm somewhere near there. Doha hosting the 2006 Asian Games. Nobody had the car this week, and this is the last 2 swipes at it. Robert Carlson would have had, I think, a little look at a leaderboard. I would assume he knows what's going on. There may not be a leaderboard up there on 17. I'm sure there was one on 16. Just got to hit a gem here, and no, that's gone, I think, right. Difficult. You can't. It's tough to start it far enough left on this hole. Very wary of leaving it out there. Wind coming off the left-hand shoulder, the wind that the players don't like. Let's go ahead to the 18th. Tony Johnston back on the normal tee, 40 yards ahead yesterday. Giving it a very nice tee shot there, and hopefully two more swipes and 1 more movement. That's all that's required. Cabrera, last chance at the car. So that's car can be put back in the wrapper. Not really been Cabrera's day today. Turned pro in 91 when he was 20 years old. Great players, been in the top 15 of the Order of Merit for the last 2 years. Up ahead on 18. Birdie attempt of Edmund to join Elliot Bolt at 10 under. So round, I would say, of 73. Very, very good week for Redmond, finishing a tie for 4th and 5th. They will share 25,500 and 21,500, so it's a very, very good week for him. Paul Lawrie finished 2 under, 78 back in 40. Not a good day for Paul. Carlson taking a long walk back to his ball. It's right on the right hand side of the 17th green. It's got to be a 30-yard putt, this. So as before, really just looking for 2 putts here. It's not a bad try. There will be a scoreboard on 17, so he'll know exactly the position he's in. Dean Robertson, second shot on 18, coming out of the rocks and bush and sand. I thought the pin on 18 might be tucked up on the left-hand side. Tournament leader, Johnston's second shot to 18. Water all the way down the left. Now it's going a little left, but only left of the pin. What a very good shot that was. Great shot. So this has to go in. Carlson, the wind whipping across from the right-hand side. To save his par. Stay at 12 under, 1 behind Johnston. Beautiful stroke. That was a very good putt. You could see he's punching the air with his left hand there. Very relieved. 1 over for the back 9, 12 under. That gives him a chance. He obviously won't know that Johnston's at the back of the 18th green in 2. And there is the scoreboard. I'm sure he's had a look. He's looking a little look across there now. Make their way to the 18th tee. Crowd gathers round to See what happens. Cabrera made 3 on the 17th. He missed that chance of a birdie. And Johnston strolling up the 18th. His experience of 16 international wins and 5 on the European Tour coming into play. There's still a bit of work left. Very disgruntled with the game a few years ago. I remember chatting to him. But it looks like he's back. All the way back 581 yards, back down to the tee. Robert Carlson has got to hit the fairway. Well, not got to hit the fairway, but it would help considerably if he did. Just disturbed now.
No camera going over the ball, okay?
And that's a shame because you've gone through your routine, you've got yourself mentally right. You've sort of said to yourself, a couple of looks down the fairway and let's pull the trigger. And then somebody pulls the trigger on a camera. I presume that's what it was. Back through his routine again. And little left, I think, but possibly on the fairway. Just gonna hang on. Yeah, very good. Well, he'll definitely be taking the green on from there. Back up to the 18th. Cabrera making his way up to the green. Johnston already there. Cabrera there in Cabrera back of the green in 3. So it looks like it's sitting down a little bit. I said that was Cabrera's ball, that was the wrong ball, it was Dean Robertson's. So a big moment here, he could just about wrap it up with a birdie. And he's hit that a little heavy. Now that lets Robert Carlson in. Robert Carlson will be looking from the fairway, looking up at the green, seeing what's going on. Tony very disappointed with that one. Very brave to take such a long swing, I thought, in that situation. Dean Robertson's 4th shot. Chip one in on the 9th hole from on day 1. Just this sort of shot, downhill, left to right. 9 under. Tied for 4th with Olivia Edmond. And all the officials getting ready for the prize presentation. And there may be a bit of a wait Could well be a playoff. Dean Robertson. Mr. Ty Elliott Bolt. Steady. Short turning as it went past the hole. Little right half putt coming back. Three over today, Dean. Just the one birdie on the 16th. Close inspection from Tony Johnston and his caddy Neil Smithers. Neil just getting over it there. Good player himself, you know. They all talk a good game though. So this to move to 14 under, 2 clear of Robert Carlson. And you can see the caddy saying it's about 6 inches left. I think it's fairly safe to say that this one goes in. Johnston will be the winner. Oh, what a fantastic putt. Fantastic putt. Very, very impressive that. Didn't think it was going to turn at the end, and it did. So Johnson finishes birdie, par birdie. Sign of a true champion there. Absolutely delighted. Is fairly obvious he's delighted, knocking that one in. Had breakfast with him this morning. And quite emotional right now. Round of 70, 14 under par. Dean Robertson just to knock his putt in. I say just to knock, it's not as easy as it looks. It's a right half putt. This for a round of 75. Well done, Dean. Time for 4th for Dean Robertson. Good week, few more Ryder Cup points. And I think shaking hands there with the champion, Dean Robertson. Robert Carlson, 1 over for his round today, 12 under coming down the last, has hit the fairway. There's Neil, the old percentage money, he's searching through the head there. Back down 18, Cabrera. Second for the 18th, I should say, for Cabrera. Not had a birdie all day. He's 7 over. It's been one of those horrid days. That does happen every week to somebody. Now Robert Carlson, fantastic drive down the last. 171 yards left. Needs an eagle to tie. Pin just at the end of those flags you can see on the stand. It's a good swing, giving it a long look. And it's an outside chance, not in the thick rough. Took the shot on, full credit. So we'll have that for a playoff. Whatever happens, he's going to finish second at worst. He's 2 shots ahead of third, which is Elliott Bolt. Just another look at Johnston here. Absolutely loving it, and well done. So Cabrera and Carlson making their way up the last hole. And that is how it stands. Carlson knows exactly what he's got to do now. Steve Webster around a 68, as David Higgins 68. Tie for 7th. 7th through to 12th. David Carter around a 69 today. Defending champion Muntz 70. Martin Moritz from South Africa, you're going to hear a lot more of him. 74 today, 5 under, finishing a tie for 13th through to 19th. But we'll go back to the final group on the last hole. And I think Robert Carlson will play first. Little chip and run, I would have thought, is the shot here. Try and get it as close to a putting stroke as you possibly can. Just pitch it over the fringe, maybe an 8-iron, maybe a 9-iron. Using the first cut of rough, which means he should have a reasonable lie. He's pulled out an 8, looks like an 8 or a 9-iron there. Don't think he's right up against that fringe. It'll move right to left. Gripping right down the shaft, trying to make it feel, keep the wrists stiff, firm, try and make it feel like a putting stroke. This for a playoff. And it's a fantastic try, but not to be. Tony Johnston is the winner of the 2001 Qatar Masters. Good try from Robert Carlson there. It doesn't matter whether, for his pride, he'll want to knock this one in, but it doesn't make any difference to his position in the tournament whether he holds this one or not. He is going to finish second with a prize of £56,590, 84,889 and 65 pence going to Tony Johnston. Angel Cabrera for an eagle. A tie for 7th. This has not been his day so far. In search of his first birdie of the day. So Robert won't be taking too much time on this one, I wouldn't have thought. Run it down, use all the hole here, I would have thought. Makes no difference. In a 5 for Robert. 12 under 2 behind Tony Johnston. Good tournament, very, very good week. And really 16 and 18 was where he needed to make the birdies. Angel Cabrera, this is quite a big putt. This for his first birdie of the day, which he does. Not Cabrera's day, unfortunately. Round of 78, birdie that last finished 7 under. And he finishes in a tie for 6th with John Sendon, who shot 71 today. Anyone who came out early and shot a sort of sub-70 round today hoisted their way up the leaderboard. So that is it. Tony Johnston is the 2001 Qatar Masters champion, and well deserved. I think going back to his shot on the 12th, which is what is in the caption there, that was his shot. He played out of the 12th, which came up front right. He chipped on to 15 feet, holed the putt, and moved on to hold another good putt on the next hole. And then what a great putt on the last. Getting ready now for a prize presentation. That's how it all finally finished. Tony Johnston 14 under. Robert Carlson, great try, but 16 and 18 with the 2 holes that he really needed to make the birdies on for a playoff. Dean Robertson, another good week. Rolf Muntz, defending champion, 5 under. Good performance along with Ian Woosnam. David Carter, 68 today. Or 69 for David Carter, I should say. Jared Mosley from Australia, nice finish, 4 under. Thomas Bjorn, last week's winner. Couldn't quite get it going this week. And Des Smith and Eamon Darcy from Ireland. Fine performances. Eamon Darcy's first outing last week in Dubai, had 4 months off with an elbow injury, and went straight out and finished 12th. David Howell, winner a few years ago in Dubai. Likes the golf in the desert. And Trevor Immelman, a young man that you're going to hear a lot of in the next few years. Mark Rowe, coming off 21 months or 20 months injury, made the cut last week and made the cut again. Mark Pilkington, first round leader with a 63, just faded away on the second day and found it hard to scrape it back, but he's a fine player. And another man to watch out for is Mark Pilkington for sure. Marcus Breer from Austria didn't have the best of weekends. Tobias Deer from Germany, a player to watch out for in the future. And that really runs up right down the 76 players that made the cut. And Tony Johnston is the 2001 champion of the Qatar Masters, and he's down with Tim Barter by the 18th green.
Tony Johnston, your first win in 3 years. A month ago, I understand you were almost thinking of giving up. That must be incredibly special.
It's just wonderful, Tim. You know, out in South Africa at the Dimension Data tournament, Karen, my wife, flew out for the event, and after the 3rd day...
Testing, 1, 2.
Keep going.
It's my stomach, I think.
1.
Carry on, Tony. Sorry, you were saying about your wife.
I'm just trying to see if he can count it too. Yeah, I said to her that you know, if I didn't find a way to putt, I wasn't actually going to go out to another golf event again, because the frustration level had finally outweighed the enjoyment level and the love of the game and the competition. And you know, it was probably a good thing, because it galvanized me into action and making some radical changes. And I mean, this week I've putted just as well as I've putted in my whole career, so it's a long time since I could say that. 6 years probably.
Let's talk about one or two of the key moments in your round. You start with an eagle, you then hold a 60-footer at the second. How did that feel?
It didn't feel bad. I hit a bad tee shot there, got lucky in the I actually finished in the desert. Not a good lie, but I managed to get it out about 80 yards short. My chip ran on to about 60 foot and hold it. And, you know, that immediately after holding a chip on the first for eagle, it was just the start I needed for the day. It was wonderful.
Surely one of the key holes today was 12. You drove it into the right-hand mischief. Tell us what was going through your mind at that stage.
Well, off the tee, I'd have to say, I really thought it was going to be stone dead in amongst the big tufts of grass, and I got fairly lucky, and thanks to you for calming me down and letting me know I had some kind of a shot. And it was a decision whether to just chip it out sideways or try and hit a huge slice between the tufts and let it slide left to right on the wind. And I decided, you know, at that stage, I haven't had a win for 3 years. I'm not going to sit back and be shot at. I'm going to have a go. So, and then I hold a wonderful putt for par. And I said to Neil Smithers, my caddy, when we walked off, that was the hole that was going to win it for us this week.
I know you've obviously been working tremendously hard on your putting. We're to thank Dr. Ken West, who I know has helped you, and your caddy, Neil, who read the putts absolutely beautifully. 101 putts this week. You haven't done that for a long time.
Well, at least I made my century. And also thanks to Simon Holmes. He's been a wonderful help to me with my long game, and he's also given me a lot of input with my putting in the last few weeks. And it's just great to be here.
Congratulations once again, Qatar Masters champion Tony Johnson.
Thank you.
So very, very happy, and understandably so, Tony Johnston. This is his winning putt on the last hole. Doesn't look like it's going in, and then the wind brings it back, and absolutely delighted. Have another look at him. Doesn't think it's going to get there, and then it does, and he's very, very good. We nearly stopped playing a month ago. I thought it was a bit longer than that he was thinking of stopping. But he practices very, very hard. Fantastic career he's had. 16 international wins, 5 European Tour victories, turned pro in '79, joined the European Tour in 1980, and there is Tony smiling with getting his hands on the Mother of Pearl trophy for the presentation. And a cheque of £84,889 and 65 pence for Tony Johnston. It's been a fantastic 4 days golf. Proper champion 2001 Qatar Masters, Tony Johnston. From me, Richard Boxall, it's goodbye for now.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the European Tour, I'm delighted to welcome you here for the prize-giving ceremony for the 2001 Qatar Masters. Once again, we've all enjoyed the wonderful hospitality and facilities that Qatar and the Doha Golf Club have to offer. The golf course this year has been in really outstanding condition, and combined with the winds that have prevailed over the last 4 days, has yet again presented a magnificent and challenging test of golf. Indeed, it is a truly world-class facility that everyone in Qatar should be justifiably proud of, and whose quality will have been admired around the world this week during the television coverage of the Qatar Masters. All of us from the European Tour have been greatly encouraged by the passion, hard work and commitment shown by the recently appointed President of the Qatar Golf Association. He has a great vision for the future of the Qatar Masters and for the game of golf in general in Qatar. We strongly believe that this event is an excellent vehicle to promote the unique identity and tourist attractions of this wonderful country. We very much hope, therefore, that the government will, like ourselves, support him in his efforts to make the Qatar Masters one of the top golfing events in the world. It therefore gives me much pleasure to introduce to the microphone the President of the Qatar Golf Association, Hassan Al-Noemi.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سعادة رئيس الهيئة العامة للشباب الشيخ سعود بن خالد الثاني، أصحاب السعادة، أيها الضيوف الكرام، السيدات السادة، إنه من دواعي الشرف والسعادة أن أقف اليوم معكم شاهدا على تسجيل نجاح جديد لبطولة قطر ماسترز للغولف، ومعلنا عن اختتام فعاليات هذا الحدث الرياضي الدولي الكبير. هذا النجاح الذي سنضيفه بكل فخر للمرة الرابعة إلى سجل الإنجازات التي حققتها رياضة الغولف في قطر على المستوى الإقليمي والعالمي، ليكون لنا حافزا على الاستمرار وبذل المزيد من الجهد والعطاء للوصول بهذه الرياضة الراقية إلى أعلى مستوياتها في بلدنا الحبيب قطر. أيها الإخوة والأخوات، إن مثل هذا النجاح العظيم ما كان له أن يتحقق إلا بتضافر العديد من الجهود المخلصة وتعاون الكثير من الأفراد والمؤسسات والمنظمات، وأنا أنظر إلى هذا النجاح على أنه نجاح وفخر لنا جميعا. وأود بهذه المناسبة أن أتقدم بجزيل الشكر إلى كل من ساهم في تحقيق هذا الإنجاز بالجهد والوقت والمال والعرق. وأخص بالشكر اللجنة الأولمبية الأهلية القطرية وأعضاء اللجنة المنظمة للبطولة والقائمين على نادي الدوحة للغولف، كما أشكر الرابطة الأوروبية لمحترف الغولف على مساندتهم وتشجيعهم، وأشكر جميع المؤسسات والوزارات والشركات التي لم تبخل بدعمها المادي والمعنوي لرعاية وإنجاح هذا الحدث، وفي مقدمتهم وزارة الدفاع وتلفزيون قطر والقائمين عليهم. ولا يفوتني أن أشكر رجال الصحافة والإعلام المحلي والعالمي الذين غطوا هذه البطولة الرابعة بالشكل المشرف الذي تستحقه، وتوجه بالشكر الخاص للسيد ديفيد مارش مدير نادي الدوحة للجولف ومدير البطولة، وللسيد رينالد ماكنيل مراقب الملعب وأعضاء فريقه على العمل الرائع الذي قاموا به. كما أود أن أعبر عن امتناني وتقديري لكافة المتطوعين والإداريين والعمال على جهدهم وإخلاصهم. وطبعا لا يمكن أن ننسى الأبطال واللاعبين والمدربين الدوليين الذين شرفونا في هذه البطولة وساهموا في كتابة مرحلة جديدة من تاريخ هذه الرياضة في دولة قطر. وباسمكم أهني الفائز بهذه البطولة جوني جونستون، وأتمنى حظا أوفر للذين لم يوفقوا هذه المرة، وأدعوهم جميعا لتشريفنا في العام القادم للمشاركة في البطولة الخامسة لقطر ماسترز. وأنا أعدهم من موقعي هذا أن الاتحاد القطري للجولف سوف يقوم بدراسة جدية بالتعاون مع الرابطة الأوروبية لمحترفي الجولف لرفع قيمة الجائزة المالية من 750 ألف دولار أمريكي لتصبح $1,000,000 أمريكي إن شاء الله. وأخيرا لا يسعني إلا أن أشكر جمهورنا الكريم على حضوره وتشجيعه الدائم لهذه الرياضة الجميلة. إننا نتطلع إلى لقائكم في قطر ماسترز 2002، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Your Excellency, Sheikh Saud bin Khalid Al Thani, President of Youth General Authority, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to stand here today, bearing witness with you to yet new success achieved by the Qatar Masters tournament. We are very proud to add the success of the 4th Qatar Masters to Qatar regional and international accomplishment. This success is what drives us forward. It is definitely an incentive for us to exert more time and effort to bring this wonderful game of golf to the highest possible levels in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, such success could not have been possible without the collective efforts and support of so many individuals, institutions, and organizations. Therefore, I consider it a success and source of pride to each and every one of us, of you. On this occasion, I would like to extend my personal thanks and gratitude to all those who spared no effort, time, and money to make this event possible. I would like to thank the Qatar National Olympic Committee, headed by His Excellency Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and members of the Qatar Masters Organization Committee. Special thanks go to the officials of the PGA European Tour for their invaluable support and encouragement. I thank all of the companies and ministries who were very generous in their moral, material, and financial support and sponsorship, especially the Ministry of Defense and Qatar Television. Special thanks to the members of the international and local media for the wonderful coverage of the tournament. I would like to thank Mr. David Marsh, the General Manager of Doha Golf Club, for his efforts as event manager together with all his staff. Many thanks must also go to Mr. Ronald McNeil, the Superintendent of the Doha Golf Club, and his team for job well done. I would like also to thank all volunteers for their time and commitment. May I also take this opportunity to extend my deepest appreciation to the European Tour players whose presence has honored this tournament and contributed in marking a new stage in the history of golf in Qatar. In your name, I congratulate the winner, Tony Johnston, my commiseration to the runner-up, Robert Carrison. I promise you that the Qatar Golf Association will be making every effort in liaison with our friends at the PGA European Tour to increase the prize fund from $750,000 to $1 million. Finally, I would like to thank our dear audience for their constant support and encouragement of this beautiful sport. I look forward to seeing you all next year for the 2002 Qatar Masters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would now like to ask Sheikh Saud bin Khalid Al Thani to come forward to the front of the table to present the prizes to our leading players. In third place, with scores of 68, 67, 72, 71, total of 278, that's 10 under par. Taking away a cheque for $46,950 from New Zealand, Elliot Bolt. In second place, opening up with a new course record of 63, 70, 70 and 73 for a total of 276, that's 12 under par. Taking a cheque for $83,330 from Sweden, Robert Carlson. And to the winner of the 2001 Qatar Masters, with scores of 68, 70, 66, and a final round 70, for a total of 274, 14 under par, taking a cheque for $125,000 from Zimbabwe, Tony Johnston. I'm going to take that trophy, isn't it? Would now like to ask Mr. Bader Darwish from Modern Homes, the agent for Rolex in Qatar, to present a Rolex to Tony for his victory.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, ladies and gents, my mind's in a bit of turmoil, so if I do forget anyone, please forgive me. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my coach, Simon Holmes, and Dr. Ken West, who has really made a big difference to my putting. I've had about 5 or 6 nightmarish years with a putter, and really it's thanks to them that I'm standing up here today. To Hassan Al-Naimi. Hassan, thanks very much for keeping this tournament on its feet. I'm sure it's going to grow from strength to strength. To Ronald McNeil, Doha Golf Club's just turned out another wonderful venue again. It's been fantastic since the day we arrived here 3 or 4 years ago. and I've always loved my visits here. The people are great hosts. Everybody that comes to this tournament enjoys themselves. I might have enjoyed myself a bit more than most this week, but there's a reason for that. To Robert and Elliot, well played. Rob, we had a great battle out there today. You're a fine player and a gracious loser, and I know you've got a lot of wins in you, so I'm sure you won't begrudge me this one for an old man. And last but not least, I'd like to just say hello to my mum out in South Africa. She's probably been having kittens this afternoon watching me play. To my family, friends, my wife Karen, who's been a fantastic support. And I think I'm probably going to cry in house, so I'm going to sit down. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the prize giving. Thank you all for staying on, for giving your support over the last 4 days to the Qatar Masters. We wish you all a safe journey home and look forward to seeing you back here again next year. Thank you.